Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. P-Mint here. I decided to buy the new Planar Portal Commander deck from D&D, and I figured might as well open it up for you guys, do a little bit of discussion on why I think this commander is good, also maybe get some feedback from you guys on what you think. Also, at my LGS competitive card check, when you spend more than 10 bucks, you get a free standard pack. So I'm going to open up a Strixhaven pack today. My last Strixhaven pack, that was a free one, was a tainted pack. So we'll see what happens. And then last time I had a video like this, I showed this dig through time. This time, instead of dig through time, I got a Bolus at Citadel. From what I'm told, these are going pretty quick, and they're worth a pretty penny. It'll look real nice right next to my retro frame Aetherflux Reservoir as well from Time Spiral. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. Got my computer next to me so I can remember some of the cards. Yeah. Oh yeah, these ones you gotta open from the bottom, huh? How about that? Over here, trying to be an idiot, open from the top. So all this packaging. This isn't even a real card. You may use these punch outs as counters or as victory confetti. Okay, I guess so. You also get this spin down, which is actually pretty cool. And then the other side it goes 20 up to 40. So 1 to 20 on one side, 21 to 40 on the other side, so you can count on your life. Pretty cool. All right, let's get into the actual deck itself. There he is, Prosper Tome Bound. They added in this little guy. It's like a thicker foil etched card. And it has a magic background, but look how big that is. Yeah, you can't really see it. But look at that compared to a normal card. It's huge. So, pretty cool. For those of you that don't know, Prosper Tome Bound is a 1/4 legendary creature with Death Touch. Mystic Arcanum. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And then he has Pact Boon, which says, whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure token. Excuse me. So basically, you exile your own stuff, you play it, you get treasure. But, as you'll soon see, it's not just about exiling your own stuff. Yes, here's mana base. Exotic Orchard, have a mana of any color and land opponent controls could produce. Not bad. There's usually always somebody with black on their deck. Red is not used as much. Foreboding Ruins. As it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a swamp or mountain. If you don't enter the battlefield, tap. I think those were Oath of the Gatewatch lands. Shadowblood Ridge, Smoldering Marsh. Fetchable. However, unless you've got, a fetch land, I don't really see how you're going to fetch this out in a red-black deck. I won't go over all these. I'll just kind of leave them up there for a second. If you want, you can read through them. And then we've got swamps and, of course, mountains, and they're the D&D ones, so they have the lore or the description of the area on them. Let's get into the actual deck itself. So there he is, Prosper Tome Bound. Karazakar, the Eye Tyrant, legendary creature Beholder. Whenever you attack a player, tap target creature that player controls and goad it. I've been seeing a lot lately about goad. Goad is apparently a thing that people really, really want, I guess. A lot of goad cards are going up in price. Also, I mean, anytime you can make an opponent attack someone that's not you, that's a good thing. When an opponent attacks another of your opponents, you and the attacking player each draw a card and lose life. So it's kind of a trade-off. What's good about that second part there is they don't have to be goaded for you to do that. So anytime anybody attacks one of my opponents, we both draw a card and lose life. So that's really good. Warlock class. Chaos Channeler. This is one of the new ones from D&D that requires you to roll a d20. So as you can see, when he attacks, you roll a d20, and then based on the number you get, you do that item. Find some prisoners. All right. Exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. Choose one of them until end of your next turn. You may play that card, and you may spend mana as over mana of any color. So you're going to see a lot of cards like this, and I've actually brought up some other cards that do something similar. Because it just says whenever you play cards from Exile. So it can be your opponent's cards, your cards, or whatever. Bucknard's Evil Purse. Roll a d4. Create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. That's pretty cool, except it gives control of this to the player to your right. This would actually be really good in like a Zedru deck. Ebony Fly. Oh, another land. Interesting. A card that you're probably going to take out. The only reason this is any good is because Suspend. Suspend, technically the card is exiled, and then you can cast it from exile, so that triggers Prosper Tome Bound. Light Up the Stage. I remember when this card was like the card to have. Costs 2 and a red. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. And then, of course, it has Spectacle. So if you deal damage to an opponent, it only costs 1 red instead of 2 and a red. Pretty good. Little Apprentice. He's got one of the little attendant abilities, so he does something in the beginning of combat if you have your commander out. Ooh, this card's fun. Shiny Impetus. Impetus. Well, I can't say that. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. So obviously it has to attack each turn, and it has to attack a player other than you. When it attacks, you create a treasure token. So it doesn't matter what your opponent has. It could be a 1/1 Thopter. It could be a 10/10 Ulamog. If you put this on them, they have to attack with it, and you get a treasure every time they attack. Throws of Chaos. What's going on here? What's going on back there? You guys good? Oh, Vandal Blast. I forgot this card is in here. I actually don't have a Vandal Blast. Don't play a whole lot of red in Commander. Destroy target creature you don't control. Overload for 4 and a red. Basically replace target with each. So that way you destroy each artifact you don't control. Okay. Ooh, a Cascade. 4 damage for 5. I don't know if that's worth it. Rakdos Charm's always a solid card. Terminate. Another solid staple in Rakdos decks. Arcane Signet. I think this card is under $2 now. Remember when this card was 20 bucks? All you chumps that bought that. Commander Sphere. Oh, that's the new art on it. I like that. Felwar Stone. So I was looking at the deck list for this a few days ago. And Felwar Stone, I think, is like $253. I think Felwar Stone is more expensive than Arcane Signet, and that shows you what reprints do. So they both cost 2. One lets you add 1 mana of any color of your commander's identity, and one only lets you add mana equal to colors your opponents control. Arcane Signet is probably 1,000 times better, but this costs more because there's just not as many of them out there. Mind Stone, always a solid card. Araska Relic. Rakdos Signet, always a staple. Soul Ring, always a staple. Again, this card's under $2, but a card like this, you kind of got to keep at that price range. Talisman of Indulgence, that one's a good one. That one's $3 or $4. Unstable Obelisk, gonna get taken out probably. Pachuca Bog is a solid $2 card. Command Tower is always good. What the heck? Apparently there's all these lands I didn't know about. Bag of Devouring. There's another one. We're rolling d20. Oh yeah, Death Tyrant. 4/6 Menace. When an attacking creature you control or a blocking creature an opponent controls dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. This one's great because he has a menace. He's a 4/6. So obviously if your opponent blocks with 2 Thopters or whatever, they're both going to die. And you're going to make 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Also, you don't even have to be in combat. If you're, if there's, I don't know, if someone cast a terminate or something on another creature's. Oh, I'm sorry, it's blocking, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, never mind, I lied. So if two other players are on combat, let's say this is the only thing you have out, and your opponent has a bunch of tokens that are swinging away, and 5 of them die, you're gonna make 5 zombie tokens. Pretty good. I think this card's been going up in price as well. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. The other abilities, you can sacrifice X token. Sacrifice X treasures. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. That can be good for getting rid of those indestructible creatures. Or if something's taken 2 points of damage and it's a 4/4, you can stack 2 treasures and give it -2/-2 and kill it off. That one's a pretty solid one. Hellish Rebuke. Lorcan Warlock Collector. I'm not going to read every single one, just the ones I know that are kind of noticeable. Share the Spoils, that's a fun one. Pause it if you want to read that one. It's a lot of text. First spell you cast from Exile. Each turn has Cascade. That one's great. Each turn because if you cast instant from Exile, if you have a way to do so, it's also going to cascade on other players' turns. So that's a really good card. Fevered Suspicion. Look at the Beholder. What is happening there? I think this is one of those ones. Let me see. Each opponent exiles from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among them without paying their mana cost. Wow. So this is, pretty dang good. This is kind of like a Tolly, except for, the attack. And also, they exile until they get a non-land. So if the top 2 cards are lands, doesn't matter. So, you might cast a Soul Ring off of this. You might cast, again, an Ulamog. And what's great is you're casting those. So if they have cast triggers, you get those. So that's a solid card in the deck. Hurl Through Hell, exile a creature. And then you can cast a card and spend mana or mana of any color. So that one is really good. Chittering Witch. I noticed that there was kind of a rat and token theme to this deck. I don't know if I want to keep it that way. Let's see. Okay, Dead Man's Chest. Each opponent enchant creature an opponent controls. When it dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its own library. You can cast from among those cards. You can cast spells from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though or mana of any type to cast those spells. I don't know why I can't talk. Maybe because it's midnight. I don't know. That one is pretty good. Obviously, the creature has to die, so it can't be sorted or whatever. But if you're able to terminate it or something, that's pretty good for you. Dante's always a good card. Oh, Marionette Master. This can be a win con in this deck. So when it enters the battlefield, you fabricate 3. So you either put 3 counters on it, or you create 3 servos. Basically, if you put 3 counters on it, it is then a 4/6. And when an artifact you control is put in the graveyard, target opponent loses life equal to its power. So if it has 4 power and you're sacking a treasure, those treasures hit the graveyard. Every time you sack a treasure, you're pinging somebody for 4. It's pretty crazy. More rats. So I guess I'm going to win with rats. I don't know. Other creatures you control have Extort. That's a really solid card as well. Apex of Power. This card is nuts. 7 red. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among them. If the spell is cast from hand, add 10 mana of any one color. So what's amazing about this is if you somehow have 10 treasures out, you can sack all those treasures to cast this. You don't even have to have lands. And I'm not going to condone this, but the way this deck is built, if it's built well enough, you could play mass land destruction and be fine because you have treasures. Don't do that, people. Chaos Warp is definitely a solid card. Commune with Lava is also a really good card. X red, exile the top X cards of your library until end of turn. End of your next turn, you may play those cards. See, that's where I get kind of fouled up here is some of them just say until end of turn you can play them. Some say until the end of your next turn, so you got to keep an eye on Okay. Goad all creatures you don't control. I think that one's going up there as well. Disrupt Decorum. That is a solid card. Dream Pillager. Nice. Yes, Atali. Yes. I love Atali. Atali's a powerhouse in this deck, man. Even if you only get one swing, you're getting 4 cards that you can potentially cast. Obviously you might hit a land, but if you get lucky, you could be casting 4 permanents for free. More exiling from top of your library and casting. Bedevil, destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Theater of Horrors. This card actually could be good in this deck. Beginning of keep exile top card of your library. During your turn, if an opponent lost life, you may play lands and cast spells from among those cards exiled with Theater of Horrors. So what's great about this, and it also has 3 in red, it deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So you can pay 4, ping somebody, then you can cast cards that are exiled with Theater of Horror or play them if they're land, which is really good. I'm not gonna say it's a mana ramp, but it could ramp you. And then Chaos Wand. So that's it. Just wanted to mention a couple of cards real quick, and I'll try to put them up on the screen here that go really well with this deck. There's a card called Abbot of Carol Keep from Magic Origins. It's a 2/1 with prowess, and also when it enters the battlefield, exile a top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. Pretty, underwhelming card until you get a commander like this. Of course, there is, what is this one? Bray's Apprentice, which is a pretty mediocre card on its own. However, when it enters the battlefield, it makes a colorless Thopter. You can sacrifice an artifact to exile the top card of your library and then until end of turn cast it. What's great is it says sacrifice an artifact, so you could sacrifice your treasure, which you're always going to have, and then cast top card of your library. Let's see here. Card that's normally useless, like Jury Master of the Review. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1 counter on it, and then when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Cards like that, Mayhem Devil, things like that. Whenever a player sacks a permanent, deals 1 damage to any target. Things like that can get out of hand. I mean, you can start pinging people, you can start pinging the creatures. Let's see. Oh, one that I didn't know about until now is Layla the Blade Forge. It's a 2/2 with haste. Whenever Layla of the Blade Forge attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card this turn. Whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your library and or graveyard, put a 1 counter on Layla. So, I mean, anytime, at the beginning of your upkeep and your commander triggers, you're already putting a 1 counter on her. And then also when she attacks, you're also putting a 1 counter on her. So she can get real big real quick. Obviously, there's some amazing cards that are probably not going to go in my deck. They're just too expensive. Ragavan, Nimble Pilfer, I'll put it up on the screen here in a sec. Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter, which is the other side of Valky God of Lies. That card is also amazing in this deck. That one's not too out of reach. It's 16, 17 bucks. It's not like Ragavan, which I think is still 80. One card that has to go in here is Zorn. It's also from Adventures of the Forgotten Realm. If you create a treasure token, instead create those treasure tokens plus 1, plus an additional treasure token. So it's basically, if you're making a treasure, you make another treasure. But it's whenever you create 1 or more, so it's not like you're making 5 and then you're making 5 more. If you make 5, you make 1 more. Let's see, Jessica's Will is another really good one. That one's 25 bucks. One that I've never seen before that's like a quarter is Oracle's Vault from Amonkhet. It's an artifact for 4, pay 2, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. That also includes lands. Put a brick counter on Oracle's Vault, and then you can exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost activated if there are 3 or more brick counters on Oracle's Vault. So you basically have to activate Oracle's Vault 3 times, and then after that, every time you activate it, you're getting a free spell. That's crazy. Revel in Riches, of course, is an easy one in this deck. I mean, obviously you have to make it to your upkeep, so as soon as that hits the battlefield, people are going to go after you. Another really solid card that I think I sold when it was like $5, that's now like, I don't know, close to 20 or 15 or something like that is Stolen Strategy. You basically just keep you exile the top card of each opponent's library, and then you can basically cast online cards from those exiled cards, and you can spend mana as those remaining enemy colors. So, you've got like a board wipe, or you've got something that good that I can use. It's gonna be mine now. And then of course there's also a couple of Chandras, like Chandra Torch of Defiance, which lets you exile cards, and then you can play them until end of turn. So I also picked up a couple other packs today that I'll probably be opening in shorts. Maybe get a fetch land. Maybe get a fetch land. But let's go ahead and open up the Strixhaven pack, and then we'll end this video here. It practically opened itself. All right. So I know there's a lot of talking in this video, so I appreciate you hanging in. Twitch, Devouring Tendrils, Access Tunnel, Quadrix Command. I don't think that one is the good one. I think that one's under $1. Brainstorm. Okay, Brainstorm's a pretty solid one. All right. Well, if you hung in there, I really appreciate it. I know this video was a lot longer. I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit some of the mechanics of the deck. So if you found this helpful or enjoyable, let me know. Also, please give me any feedback on my videos, or feedback about this deck, what you think would go in it. I know there's always sleeper cards out there that people don't know about until it's too late. So let me know, and I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.